We're in the final stretch now. We got just a few more things to do and all the body work will be done. I put in this backing on the tail light here. All right, so it's welded in place and it's enclosed. Now I just need to seal up the back of it. And I'll do that with fiberglass later on once I work on the wheel wells. But the exterior is what we're concentrating on now. So I'm gonna sand this all down, probably hit it up with a little bit more primer, and then we gotta work on putting this plate in. So it's gonna be one more plate, and I already have it kind of, the template kind of already done. So it's just a matter of cutting it out and negotiating it and fitting it in place and sealing it up. So that's done. The back of the doors here are essentially done. You know, it's still in the raw fiberglass state, but the metal is welded in place and it's coated, so it's protected from the elements. So here's the new metal. So that's all sealed up, and I don't have to worry about that getting you know, water and crap coming in through the bottom or it falling out. Same thing with this one. So that's all done. I just gotta, you know, seal this up somehow. I'll probably put maybe undercoating or something inside each one of these doors to kind of seal it all up. And here's one we're gonna be working on. It's gonna probably take the most time. The back of it is sort of good still. There's just certain spots. So I'm debating whether to just tack in patches, you know, and keep the main structure there, or putting in a whole new piece. So that's what I'm concerned about right now. I might just cut it all out and put in a brand new piece, just because that way everything's gonna be fresh metal, but we'll see. I don't know. I'll figure it out. I think that it might be easier to just put in all new metal, but you know, this seems pretty solid still, you know, and factory welds and everything are much stronger than anything I could do. So we'll see. I might just clean it up and fix it up, and then put on the back, you know, another taillight piece, just this little section, and that's all done. And really, that's the only stuff that needs to be done besides this one little hole right here. So, you know, today I should be able to get through most of this, and then tomorrow sand everything down. I'm gonna keep this how it is and just work on the metalwork, get all the metalwork done today, and then sand everything down tomorrow, all the fiberglass that I lay on it today. Sand it all down, get it all primed up, and then just a matter of waiting for, you know, the final coat of whatever I'm gonna do. If I'm gonna paint it, if I'm gonna monster line it, we'll see. But that's the majority of the body work done. And as far as these fenders go, it's just a matter of, you know, sanding everything down and applying all my fiberglass to any of the welds. So this one's already covered up. I plugged in all those, and I just need to plug in the inside. Patch up the inside with fiberglass, and then clean it all off and coat the whole thing in primer. And I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna keep these off of the truck until I figure out what I'm gonna do about coating the truck. You know, I rather apply, if I do get monster liner and have to roll it on, I rather roll it on without, you know, all the extra pieces on it, so that way I can get inside everything and make sure everything's sealed up and looking good. So that's it. 2 more days I have to work on this thing, and I hopefully will get it all done in these 2 days. I was looking at this corner right here, and you know, it really bothers me. I was debating whether to keep this piece in here or not. I think I'm just gonna cut it out. It, you know, what I'm gonna do, I think, is I'm gonna cut this piece off, right? Open this up, and then I'll keep maybe an inch up here where it's clean and welded to the piece here, and then I'll weld in my other panel to that piece. That way my welds will be, you know, I'll have something clean to weld to, and I can get rid of all this crap, you know, because this looks awful. And I feel like even if I was putting patches and stuff on here, I'm gonna be having problems later down the road. So I'd rather seal this whole little corner up. So that's the plan. Cut this thing out and then weld in the backing plate like I did with that one. I've got the backing welded in place for these taillights, so that's all secured in there now. It's just a matter of covering that with fiberglass. Before I do so, what I'm going to do is cut out these taillight, the external parts, right? So this is a skin that goes over that, and the taillight's all stenciled in place. I just gotta cut this out and then use that to, you know, make it nice and clean and get all the little corners and stuff in there because I can't get into there. But get that done, and from there, that's when I'm going to, you know, I'll know how everything lines up, and what I think I'm going to do is probably just stick it over this entire thing and weld it in place. So it'll be, because this is all still good, you know, and it's all solid. So I'd like to keep it, you know, as structurally sound as I can. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna grind all this down and then apply those corners over it and bend them and shape them, and then use fiberglass and body filler to get the final shape of them. So now it's a matter of cutting them out, putting in fiberglass, sealing it up, getting it all nice and clean, putting in the and tacking in the other outside skins, and then those taillights will be done. All right, so here's one almost finished taillight piece. At least the opening is cut out, and the taillight fits in there like that, right? Then what I would do is, the reason I kept these intact is because they give me a frame of reference, and I can actually place these there, so I don't have to worry about it you know, not being level or whatever. Right? It's not going to be crooked at all. It's exactly where it needs to be. And so now it's just a matter of marking off what else I need to cut and drilling in the holes. So I know that the tail light is going to sit like this. I could take a little bit and drill it in there and drill it into the holes that I already have, you know, lined up. So now it's just taking care of all that, right? Cutting out all the metal and tacking it in place and then bending it how it needs to be bent down here. And I mean, I'm not going to be too detailed with how I bend it because I'm going to use body filler to finish it off. But at least I have metal in place now. And, you know, this can be bent in place and then I'll just finish it off with body filler and fiberglass. So that's it. Time for the second one. And there we have the starboard and port sides of the rear tail lights. So the way these work is that it's cut out to match that little section right there. There's a little gap right there where probably have to weld in a little bit of metal first, and then put those in place and then bend them underneath. So I'm going to address all this first before I get to welding that in place. But those are now cut in place and ready, and the taillight housing lines up with them and everything, so that's good. This section I have to fix up. There's a gap over here, and the reason there is one is because I miscalculated the angle that it was at. So when I tried to put the taillight in for a test fitting, it wouldn't hit the back. I mean, it hit the back and it wouldn't, you know, sink in enough. So I had to give it a little bit of love with the hammer and pushed it in. Ended up busting this fiberglass that was holding it there in this section. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to pull this all out. It's pretty well stuck. So, but I might just fiberglass that up inside there, and then weld in a little bit of sheet metal on top of there, and then fiberglass that over too. I'll have to take the tire off to get to it though, because it's you know, pretty hard to reach back there. All right, so all the fiberglass work is done on this one, and it's cleaned up entirely, refurbished, right? So I have to just grind down, you know, sand down that fiberglass, and then coat the inside with bed liner and the outside with bed liner, and this one is done. That was the better of the two. This one is the far worse of the two, and probably 30% of this entire one was fabricated. All right, so all patches everywhere. Which means, see, I redid this entire lip. So this one is gonna be cleaned up now. It's all ground down, gonna be cleaned up. And then I have to put fiberglass all over the exterior of this one. And then I'm going to fiberglass this up. So what I'm going to concentrate on is completing these fenders. So this fender is almost sealed up. I just need to apply short strand fiberglass to these sections here that I welded in, and they're all kind of chewed up. And sand everything else down, you know, apply the body filler where needed, and then coat the whole thing with primer. So I still have to do the insides. You see all the stitched metal. So gotta fill that up with fiberglass, and then same thing. So this one is nearly completed. I just gotta put some body filler on there, smooth everything out. But all the fiberglass is applied to any stitches that I made. So it's about to rain in about 10 minutes. I can already feel drops coming. It's gonna rain 10 a.m., 11 a.m., 12, and then all night. So I got bare steel out there. I gotta finish this off. I thought it was gonna come later today. It's coming a little earlier than expected. Gotta move this out of here. And try to get that in there. The issue I have is this is about maybe 6'4"-ish, and my truck is a little bit taller than that. So I'm gonna air down the tires and try to squeeze it in here. Hopefully I don't have to take these bolts off, but try to get it in here. We'll see before it starts pouring. So last night, AccuWeather said it was going to start raining at around 3-4 p.m. So I figured I'd had enough time to get all the stuff done. Got here early, started getting to work, and 9:30 rolls around in the morning, and it starts drizzling. Now look at the weather: 10, 11, 12, rain, 2, 3, 4, 5 thunderstorming all through the night. So sorry, Caddy. Someone else is taking over the garage right now. Aired down the tires. There's not too much clearance here. I don't know what this is, maybe 6'4", maybe 6'5". So my truck's a little bit taller than that, especially with these tires on there. It's going to be a lot taller once I get the other tires and the lift on it. But aired the tires down, put in, got that going, and just squeaked in. So I'm in the garage now, and I can complete the work in here. So I'm gonna try to get everything done, all the metal work, everything done while I'm in here where it's nice and dry, and then cover everything up, prime everything, and then it can go back outside. So, you know, just so I don't have any exposed metal, especially when it starts raining and things like that. It's gonna have a lot of moisture too, so I'm gonna try to cover up everything as quickly as possible. All right, so here's the fender, the one that was really bad, and all the patches have been filled in with fiberglass. And now I'm just going to apply body filler and just take care of all these little imperfections and little holes and things like that. Trying to get this done as quick as possible. I still haven't gotten to this, and I only have like 2-3 more hours, so I'm gonna have to work really quickly and welding in these corner pieces and covering those with fiberglass as well. While this cures, it's going to take about 10-15 minutes before I start sanding it and get it ready for primer. I'm going to start working on this, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to grind out all the, this is 40 grit on here on this air tool, and grind it all down, smooth it all out, and then I'm going to apply short strand fiberglass, seal it all up, any kind of little holes and things like that, and get it all cleaned up in it. And from that point, I can weld in my corner pieces. So this is the port side. So that's that side. Starboard side. And these just are going to go on like that. I'm going to weld them in place, you know, flatten them out with a hammer, get it all nice and smooth, and then fold them. And just fold them down, and then cover the whole thing with fiberglass as well. So that's the plan right now. Start cleaning up all this, clean up that. I still have to weld in a little piece right here, and then I have one more piece to weld in the front, cover all the fiberglass, and then cover everything with primer. So I'm not going to prime the whole truck. All I'm going to be priming is the stuff that I was working on, right? So there still needs to be, I mean, there's some little minor imperfections and things like that that need to be worked on. So for the most part, it's almost all done. I just need to get these taillights in, get it all done, and then after that, it's just a matter of fixing the bodywork. And I can do that when I'm getting ready for to roll it with the monster liner. So whatever weekend I choose to do that, at least I'll have, you know, a basically finished truck that I just need to, you know, cover up with the rest of the primer, apply more body filler. I got a whole big tub of Bondo, right? So I'll fill that in, and then it's good to go. So back to work. All right, front fenders are done and they're completely sealed up. They look brand new. This is the one that was in super crappy condition, and it's all new steel, body filler, and that's the other one. Primed, they're all ready to go. So very happy with how these turned out. Like I said, this is like almost, I don't know, probably like $1,800 worth of body panels right there. They were like 900 something each. So very happy with that. Now this is all filled in with filler inside there, all the fiberglass, everything's sealed up. Now I just have to put the top part on. And so this top part, what I'm doing is I'm going to prep it right now, clean it off, sand down both sides of it, right, so that primer and stuff can stick to it, and then and the fiberglass can stick to it, and then weld it in place. Do the same thing with the other side. I just got to do a little bit of a, you know, small little repair on the other one, but I'm going to get that other piece in there, and then in the front there's one little hole I have to address. So then all the sheet metal will be completed on this truck. Very excited. I got like 2 hours left before I have to leave, so get everything done, and then cover it up with primer, and then it'll come back outside. Caddy can go back in, and we're done. Okay, so now I'm going to weld this in place. The reason I kept this original piece there, at least part of it, is because now I know exactly where the tail light lines up, right? Fits in that little piece. This part's missing. So what I do is I got my new sheet metal, right? This is the one that I cut. This fits perfectly inside there. And now I put the whole tail light assembly back in there, and it's still loose on this side, but it fits perfectly on that side, so everything's lined up. Now I just gotta push this up, and so now perfectly straight, and that's exactly where it's supposed to go. So it's on. So now I'm just gonna weld this section right here. Alright, so now that's tacked in place. I just gotta continue and finish it off.